Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturns. I received a chunk of mesquite from the Southern Utah Woodturners Club. I sure wish more of it grew around where I live. And I turned this bowl. Mesquite is a beautiful wood. It is a medium brown, has some nice figure in the grain. And in this case, we've got a little yellow sapwood out here, and more whitish sapwood here, and then more yellow sapwood here. And I put a little outward flare on it to give it a little bit more of a hold and more of a profile. So, few and far between, but let's turn this mesquite bowl. This piece of mesquite came from a wood exchange at the Southern Utah Woodturning Club. Mesquite is a tough wood and typically pretty grain. I'm trusting that will hold true. I've mounted the wood to a screw chuck and sawn off the corners. My bowl gouge is freshly sharpened, but it is still slow going to rough turn the exterior. I always want to attack from the side grain. So here goes the bottom. As I cut off more wood, the wood is better balanced and I can turn up the speed on the lathe. Finally, I can start cutting the upper exterior. I cut back the top side to ensure I have a good top edge when I turn it around. Finally, I cut more of the sapwood off and cut a mounting tenon. Then cut another ledge to help guide my eyes for the curvature on the bottom. Then finish shaping. This does not need to be particularly smooth because I'll be trimming it again after it dries. Whew, that was tough. Mesquite is a very hard wood. Now that I've turned the bowl around and mounted it into the chuck, I can start work on the upper side. First, to remove the center of where I reduced the brim. I'm going to hog it off as quickly as I can with my bowl gouge. Then hog out some of the bowl portion before slowing down for more precise cuts. Still, I don't need a lot of precision, but I do need a fairly uniform wall thickness of just over an inch for this size bowl. This will allow enough wood to remove warpage when it is dry and have another go at this bowl. I'm finished turning for now, at least until it is dry, but I will coat the bowl with a sealer to retard rapid moisture loss. This stuff has the consistency of white glue. I don't know what has been added to it. Every so often, I weigh the bowl and record its weight. When it stops losing weight, we can end its diet. It has lost 21.5% of its weight, which is on the low end in my experience. Mesquite may be a fairly dry wood to begin with. Now I have pressed the dry bowl against a large wood faceplate with the original center point. The bowl has not warped severely, but I do need to trim it and recut the tenon and cut off the sealer. Then turn it around into the chuck. A rubber stopper on the live center provides some security. My first task is to trim the rim. Any crack here would be bad news and have to go first. Now for the exterior. Here I need to remove any trace of the sealer. Here I like to use a shear cut to remove the least amount of wood that I can unless I really want to. However, I think I have enough wood for an extended lip to enhance the profile and handling experience. But with a moment of inattention, I nick the bowl near the lip and have to trim more to remove it. Now for the inside. Easy does it. There's not a lot of wood left if I make a mistake. Then I'll thoroughly sand. I usually start with 80 grit unless it is too much to do. In that case, I drop to 60 grit. Yes, I'll admit to using 60 grit on occasion. In my high school years working part-time in a body shop, we learned to sand. In fact, I wore off the skin off my fingers and had to wrap masking tape around my fingers to keep working. Now for the coal jaws while I trim the foot, but first I'm measuring to see how much wood I can take off. Then gently tool off the excess before sanding this area again, but by hand. Then a little decoration on the foot. Then sign it with an engraver and give it a quick bath in walnut oil. I enjoy turning a bowl. Turning green enables me to have access to more wood than I could ever do if it were already dry, unless I segment it. There's just a bit of not so instant gratification while it dries. This mesquite is pretty. I'm going to Arizona soon, after a grandson is born. Maybe I can find some there after I get to hold the little guy. Meanwhile, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video. Please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.